toast to the world, we're hitting first base. Marty Lurie with friends, home run. You know the ways and the trends, the stories all with the match of the block. It's Marty and friends. Marty and friends.
Nice to be with you on this Sunday afternoon. Ruby, thank you so much for that introduction. As we get ready for a little bit of post-game Giants baseball talk, joined by Eric, of course, from Giants Sports Talk Live. Right, Eric? Is that the one?
Yes, sir.
And of course, the great Glenn Kuiper at Kuiper Baseball on Twitter. And all Giants all the time. Glenn Kuiper. Glenn, how are you?
Hey, Marty. What's up, guys?
Well,
at least we have something fun to talk about. We got to wait a little while, but at least we have something fun to talk about.
I will say that, first of all, to Pinaki Joder, who said congratulations on the movie. Thank you so much. I'm sure we'll talk about it today a little bit. But today, I saw what I think was the worst team I've seen in the major leagues this year. With all due respect to the White Sox and the Rockies and Washington and whoever else you want to bring in, the Orioles in this series was the worst team I've seen the whole year. They get beat 15-8 and just get crushed on Friday night. Today they lose 13-2, and they did win yesterday 11-1 behind an excellent pitching performance from Rodgers. But guys, the Giants won it. The Mets lost. The Reds won. They're now 5 back with 25 to play. And they're a game under 500. And I tell you, this is baseball. But this Oriole team, for me, this was the worst I've seen all year. And the Giants kicked their butt today. So, Glenn, we'll start with you.
Yeah, and I agree. I know that the Orioles are having a bad year, obviously. But this is a team that just 2 years ago, Marty, and I just have it in front of me. I knew they made the postseason the last 2 years, but 2 years ago, they won 101 games. Last year, they won 91 games. They went to the postseason in 23 and 24. And they have this young talent, and for them to be as bad as they are, that's very hard to figure out. I know the pitching's been, a trouble spot, and maybe these young players aren't having as good a season. But yeah, from what I saw of them, that was tough to watch. It was tough to watch. And how do you figure this is a team that you thought was on the rise, playing in a very difficult division, obviously, but the Orioles certainly were on the rise the last couple of years with all this young talent. But to take that much of a step backward is surprising to me. But as you like to say, Marty, that's baseball. You cannot figure out or plan what's going to happen in this game. And this Orioles team is a perfect example.
Yeah, and how about the way the Giants have been playing? Oh my goodness. It seems like, with the exception of yesterday, they're pitching the ball, they're hitting the ball, they're playing some great defense. They're playing baseball how they were in the first 2 months of the season. They're out there getting those key hits, and they're doing everything right. And I love it. It's great. You're seeing these guys. I don't know if it's just, are they starting to get settled in, talking about Adames and Devers? Matos, maybe now that he's got some rope, so to speak, he's like, I'm feeling good. I know what I can do. And young Drew Gilbert today had 3 hits, had a couple of doubles, if I'm not mistaken, or a triple and a double with the help of Daniel Johnson, thank God, in left field. But man, I tell you, I love the way the team is just playing right now. They're not giving up. They're not going to go down without a fight, and I love seeing it right now.
Well, as I've said, and Glenn and I have talked about this, and Eric, you too, when you used to call in, the big guys have got to carry you. And this is the time, and Ken Maka told me this years ago, manager of the A's. He said in September, which we are now, the big boys take over. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you something, Adames and Devers have taken over, and they are lifting this team, and they're carrying them. And Chapman has done, his job as usual in the field, but they're getting something out of first base with Dom Smith. The Matos thing, he's walked in and given him a tremendous 10 days. Jung-Hoo Lee has done his thing. They played well. They really have. And, I've said this and people say I'm crazy, but, they're 5 back, maybe 6 if you consider the tiebreaker of the Mets with 25 to go. And the Mets got walloped today by the Marlins, and Senga got knocked out in the 5th inning, giving up 5 runs. And, it's very much alive, I think, where the Giants are now. So I feel pretty good about what they're doing now. Who could see this coming? Because when you lost the bullpen, I mean, Rodriguez is gone, Duvall is gone, Miller is gone, Rogers is gone. But all of a sudden, they're hitting, and the offense has picked them up. So good series against a team that, as Glenn says, has really struggled. They have, Holiday's a great player. Henderson's a great player. Moncalso looks like a guy who can play a little bit. But they're a shadow of what they were a couple of years ago, especially on the mound. They got nothing on the mound at all except Rogers. So for the Giants, they did what they had to do today, and they win it 13-2. And as everyone says, someone said, on to Colorado, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they
Right.
go.
No
You got to win
excuses.
these games.
Mm-hmm.
See, now you got to win these games. So, guys, I'll ask you this. What did you think of Verlander today? And just in general, what did he look like to you? Glenn, start with you.
Listen, I mean, he was a little shaky. The control wasn't great. But when you look at what he did, it was kind of the ultimate grinder start for me. He threw 121 pitches, and he had to. And I know Bob wanted to leave him out there to get a win. But he's such an interesting guy to watch now because the stuff is still pretty good. He had 23 swings and misses today in 5 innings. That's a lot. You get over 20 in any start. That's a big number, and he had 23 today. I don't know that he necessarily has that put-away pitch like he used to. He used to have a couple put-away pitches, right? So I think what happens is that bats are longer because guys, instead of swinging and missing like they did 5-6 years ago in Verlander, now they foul the pitch back. Right. So the at-bats are longer, and he has not been able to pitch, deep into games. But I was really impressed with him today because you could tell he was fighting it a little bit, but yet he had 10 strikeouts in 5 innings. He got strikeouts when he needed it. And he was grinding, man. I think the tank was pretty low, I think, there at the end. But they left him out there to finish the 5 innings, which I thought was great. He's an interesting dude, this Verlander, at this point in his career, because there's still something there, I think.
Yeah, yep.
But yet, it's been a struggle at times this year. He's pitched better than his record. That's not an excuse. I think that everybody could agree that he has clearly pitched better than a 3-10 record. But he's still fun to watch. There's still some fire there, I think you can see, and he wants to keep pitching. I don't know, guys. Is that something to think about for next year with the Giants? I don't know. I think a lot of people would be like, oh, absolutely not. I don't think it should be completely dismissed because he has taken the ball. I know he was on the injured list a little bit this year, but he still takes the ball every 5th day. He's not going to give you 7 innings, but if he was your 5th starter, would that be the worst thing in the world? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's something we should all just have in the back of our minds as a possibility looking toward next year. But he's still kind of fun to watch because you can tell that he knows how to pitch and that he's got different things that he can do to get out of innings. He just can't dominate people like he used to.
And I tell you, and to your point, Glenn, he left it all out on the field today, didn't he? He left it all out. He did everything he could to try to get out there and give the bullpen a break because the bullpen got used yesterday, right? And you're going to get ready to go into Colorado, so you want to try to get as many innings as possible. And look, the guy battled, 42 years old, 121 pitches, and look, the guy, he's a competitor. And I saw Bunta Hill. He put a tweet out there talking about, do we want to talk about maybe Verlander being a 4 or 5? And look. The way he's been pitching, would he be a bad number 5? Marty, you've said it on the show a couple of times. Verlander is kind of your prototypical number 5 starter. And right. I don't think that would be a mistake if the Giants did sign him for one more year, because the Giants are going to need a couple of pitchers. So why not bring Verlander back for your number 5? Again, that make sure the expectations isn't quote unquote prime Verlander, right? We got to understand that.
Fifth starter. If he was your 5th starter, I don't think that would be terrible. Now you have to make sure, you know who 1 and 2 will be. I think Roop's, in the mix for a 3, and even if you did sign Verlander, let's just say, and we'll go off on this tangent a little. Let's say he said, let's think about maybe bringing Verlander back. It's going to be a 1-year deal. So you're not making some major commitment, but that doesn't mean you still couldn't go out and get another guy. Maybe get a guy that costs you a little bit more money. You maybe make a little bit of a splash to
Ranger
get
Flores.
Somebody like that. We kind of know the names and stuff. That's not a ridiculous thought, I don't think, because Whisenhunt, is he ready? I don't think we're sure. Tidwell, we haven't seen him yet in the big leagues. Birdsong, scouts in AAA say he looks all messed up still. So can we count on those guys? I don't know. I don't know. So I think it is something to definitely think about. Marty, what do you think?
Absolutely not. He's been terrific. He's 42. And look, you look at the box score today. He had 2 on in 3 different innings and got out of it. The Orioles didn't hit with runners in scoring position, but he walked a bunch of guys who was behind in the count. Everything everyone says is true for today. It's fabulous to watch him. And Cole Dunstan and people have put some really nice comments that we can, put up. But you're asking for trouble. And I just think you need pitchers on this team. And I agree with you. Whisenhunt, all the ones you went through, you don't know what you're going to get. But to come back with a 43-year-old who, can give you 5 innings. I mean, he threw 121 pitches in 5 innings. And that's what you're asking for. It's fabulous, the work ethic, the way he pitches and everything else. But boy, I just think you'd be really rolling the dice big time if you put him in there as a 5th starter. It's not the end of the world. It could happen. The fans like him. See, part of the reason that the attendance has been so good, and today, what they have, 39 again today, is that Buster has created a team that sticks around. These guys have been here all year. So the Adames becoming the good shortstop he is, we've seen the whole year, and it hasn't gone back and forth to Sacramento or this kind of thing. And the pitching staff, generally with the Verlander and with Robbie Ray and with Logan Webb, those guys have been here. And Jung-Hoo Lee, endeavors since he's been here. People have really bonded, I think, with the team. And part of it is that the fact that they're always here. So do you bring Verlander back? I would hope that Buster could go out and get a couple of pitchers if these young kids are not ready. But for what he's done for this ball club this year, for the fan base, for here we are going into September 1st, and frankly, he's going to get the ball in St. Louis. And, I'm not terribly upset about that. I think, he'll give him what he can give him. So I would hope not, guys, but it's something that's not completely off the table.
That's fair.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, you'd like to see, hey, let's go trade for Joe Ryan, or let's sign Framber Valdez, right? Well, yeah, that would be great. I guess my point, Marty, is maybe you do go out and get another guy. And if you needed that 5th starter, would it be so terrible if Verlander was that guy? And I think we all agreed, no, but you need somebody else that you bring to it. I would agree with that. You may need 2 starters. That's the reality.
Yeah, well, Roop is the big deal.
Roop's good. Yeah,
Roop is okay. I mean, if Roop comes back, then you really need 1, because Roop could be the 4th or 5th guy easily on the team.
I think they will try to. I think they will try to get a pitcher, a legitimate, 2 or 3 guy. Now that's easy to say. It may cost money. It may cost some prospects. but that wouldn't surprise me at all if they make a run at a starting pitcher this offseason, however you get him, whether it's a free agent or a trade.
They have to. They have to.
Yeah.
They have to.
And because the thing too with that, guys, is you got Robbie Ray next year under contract, but then the contract is up. So, we don't know what would happen after 2026. Maybe if Robbie Ray's still good, maybe you can say, hey, let's bring him back on a 2-year deal. He's not going to need a 5-year deal. But the point is I think, it'd be nice to have one more real legitimate guy. And I'm not saying that Roop's not legitimate, but I'm saying, he's still young and trying to figure it out a little bit. If you could get one more real good one to line up with Webb and Ray going into next year, I think that would make a big difference.
Well, they need them because the young guys have not come through.
Guys, I mean, that's the problem.
Harrison is in Boston, and Birdsong is, on, the interstate going back and forth to Sacramento every day. So, no, it has not had. They need a pitcher for next year. There's no question in my mind about that. And they may need two, depending on what happens. So they're good at that. Look, people like to come to this park to pitch. And there are a lot of people. Look, I thought they should have gone after Walker Buehler today. The Phillies signed him. Now, it's his choice, probably. And he's, the Phillies are in the playoffs. Sure. I'm hoping that, lightning strikes here and the Giants get in. So if he had his druthers, probably the Phillies was a choice. Unless they picked him up on waivers, then they'd have to eat the contract, which I don't think they wanted to do. But Aaron Savali, he also got picked up today. Mm-hmm. Was it the Cubs? I think it was the Cubs that picked him up. Cubs picked Santana up too. I think Buster, he's wonderful. He's conservative, maybe a little too conservative. I think today the Giants could have used a little shot in the arm. I don't know. Maybe they're playing great and everyone feels good about what they're doing and all this stuff. But boy, you got Tang going in Colorado. There's another open spot in the rotation. What are you going to do here? So I don't know. I would have liked to have seen Walker Buehler picked up today.
Yeah, I don't know that I would go with. I mean, anybody who went out and got Rafael Devers in the middle of June, knowing that he's got an 8-year contract left, I would not call him conservative. And I think too. Listen, Wisenhunt was all set to go tomorrow and scheduled to start, and that's fine. And then he wakes up with a sore back.
Yeah.
So I my guess is the Walker Buehler deal to Philadelphia, that was probably lined up the next day after he was let go. So they may not have been able to get to Walker Buehler, but then all of a sudden Wisenhunt, who taking a good close look at, well, now he can't pitch. And so you got to go with Tang in Colorado, which, we'll see what happens, but that's a little bit of a scary thought. But
maybe who's your fifth guy now? Because who's your fifth guy? Seymour. I mean, I think you're still competing. I mean, Buster, yes, he pulled the trigger on the Devers deal, which has turned out to be, after watching Devers now, holy cow! And this is a legitimate hitter in this park. Mm-hmm. And whatever he did give up for him, thank goodness. And when you look at what he gave up for him. Didn't give, the way all said and done, they didn't give up the farm to get him.
Right.
No.
So it was a hell of a deal for Buster. It was a great deal for him.
And you got rid of a bad contract in Hicks, yeah.
I feel they are still competing. And I would have liked to have seen a little more action today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I feel. But look, the Orioles stink. They're gone. Now it's all National League the rest of the way for the Giants. Colorado, St. Louis, Arizona, and the Dodgers. This is it.
And I'm looking at the Mets schedule, just since that's sort of where we're at here. The Mets open up a real tough road trip, you guys. They go 3 in Detroit, they go 3 in Cincinnati, and then 4 in Philadelphia.
Yeah, come on.
So that's a tough road trip starting tomorrow night for the Mets. And the Mets are a very, very good team. Are they going to collapse? I kind of doubt it, but nonetheless, that's a tough road trip.
It's a monster. They don't pitch. Come on, they've got McLean and they got Tong, the new Lincecum. Those are the two pitchers they got. Everybody else gets lit up, and their bullpen is falling apart. Diaz and Helsley can't get anybody out. Soto can't get anybody out. The best guy in the bullpen is our guy.
Yeah. Right.
It's Rogers. So they hit the heck out of the ball. They do, and they've got the pros. And I say, keep in mind, in September, the pros take over. They've got the guys to go down the stretch. But I'm telling you, the Giants just play steady ball. And again, Tang has to pitch, and then the fifth spot, Glenn, is open.
Yeah.
And you still have Verlander for 5 innings and 120 pitches. You're not putting Whitey Ford out there,
Right.
So you got to deal with that. So we'll see. But the team itself is playing good baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing good baseball. That's what I like. And they're beating the teams they should, and even teams that they shouldn't. So
yeah, they swept the Cubs. You took the last two in Milwaukee, and then you sweep the Cubs. I mean, that one was just
the other thing is, and Glenn knows this, you get into September and some teams are out of it, and you'll see pitchers you never saw before. You'll see crazy scores, and the Giants are beating up on the middle relief on some of these teams. They're doing a good job with that. So Colorado's kind of out of it, but St. Louis and Arizona kind of still where the Giants are. But maybe by the time the Giants get there, those teams will also be out of it.
Exactly.
Every year, every trip to Colorado scares me to death.
I know.
It just, it's just an automatic thing. I mean, my brother Dwayne, he doesn't travel much anymore. Doesn't do a lot of road games. He refuses to go to Colorado anymore.
Yeah.
Because he's been there so many times and he's seen so much craziness happen. Doesn't matter if the Rockies are good. Doesn't matter if they're bad. There's always a game every series where you're like, oh my God, what just happened? I don't know. If you can just get out of there without something weird happening, but it never seems like you can. It's such a, like, you think about these 3 games coming up and you're like, well, it's the Rockies. Giants are playing great. They should go in there. They should score a ton of runs. I've seen this so many times, Marty and Eric, where the first game they go in and they score 1 run and lose 6-1.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be downer here. I'm just saying it's such a weird place, and you almost get scared when the team goes in there, just because you don't know what's going to happen. You just don't know. And the Rockies are throwing out a lineup that you don't know much about, but things start rolling there and the ball starts finding holes, and then you walk a guy, and there's so many pitfalls at Coors Field that you can fall into. So let's hope they continue play good baseball, because you have to play tight defense there. You have to throw strikes there. Let's hope they do that and they survive this crazy thing that's called Coors Field. Because we've all seen it so many times. But
yeah, September's different. You got to step on these teams early. Get a lead early in the game. Get them out of the game so they quit. You got to do that now. They're going to face Dollander, who's a right-hander from Tennessee, I think. He's another Tennessee guy. And he's done well on the road. He hasn't done well at Coors. I'm just looking at my book.
Yeah,
88 innings. 64. Huge prospect, right-hander. Yeah. Then it's Freeland, who gives them trouble.
Yeah.
There are times when, remember last time they saw Freeland, didn't he take him into the 6th inning, I think, the last time?
He's left-handed, too. That's part of the thing, too, right, this year?
Then they get the gift from God. That's Marquez. They get him at the end of the series. So, it is lined up okay. I would think. They're not getting Gordon. Gordon actually won today over the Cubs. He's the one guy who pitches well for them. But you're right. You go in there thinking you're going to score a ton of runs, and you get beat 4-1.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, the Giants at least are going in not licking wounds. They're going in pretty, as far as the lineup is concerned. So the guys are, they got a little bit of moxie, so to speak, going into Colorado. So hopefully that pays some dividends, because to make up for that, the pitching, you got to be able to score a lot of runs. You have to.
Yeah, and Colorado does have a little bit of a bullpen. That Vodnik guy is a pretty good arm.
And it looks like Webb on Tuesday, and I'm just looking at the TV here, and Ray on Wednesday. So that's a good thing for the Giants too.
And Tang tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, we'll just give me 4 innings, right?
Well, you got to have a lot of bullpen behind them, and Bevins pitched today, and
I think too, Marty. You know what I think, Marty, is and we'll get to this, but I think whoever gets called up tomorrow, because September 1st you had 2 guys, and you're going to call it. I think you have to call up 1 pitcher, right? You can add 2 guys. One of them has to be a pitcher.
Is that right?
So whoever gets called up, I think from Sacramento is going to probably be. I don't know who it's going to be, but it could be like a Trevor McDonald or a Mason Black, somebody who can pitch, can throw 3-4 innings tomorrow if needed. So I think who gets called up tomorrow, I think the thought process is who can help us the most in these 3 games in Colorado, specifically tomorrow night, because Tang is throwing, and then you got Webb and Ray, which is you feel a little better about. But as far as going deep into the game, so it'll be interesting to see what the situation is with who the Giants called up.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, and it probably will be a guy who can go in and go 3 or 4 innings.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be a guy making his major league debut.
Probably not. There's not that many choices either,
No, if Tidwell is okay, if he's okay, he did pitch for the Mets earlier, but again, you're throwing into Colorado. You'd rather have a guy. Didn't Mason Black pitch in Colorado? I got a feeling he.
But it could be Black. I mean, he's on the roster. He's on the 40-man. Trevor McDonald's on the 40-man. So they don't. There's not a huge amount of choices really for them to bring up as far as a pitcher goes.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I would imagine we'll probably hear something fairly soon. But
well, what about Luciano? And someone had it on Twitter today. And they hit a ball like 500 feet. I mean,
500 feet. Yeah.
508 feet. Can you believe that?
Something ridiculous. I mean, come on. He's done everything they asked him to do, and I agree with you. Where would they play him?
Yeah.
But is it so bad to have his bat off the bench if you need a pinch hit late in the game? And I realize he struck out a lot. Maybe he can give you something off the bench. But what about Rodriguez, Glenn, the catcher? What about him?
that's who I'd like to see. And again, I don't, we're all learning about these new guys. The Rodriguez kid, he homered today. He's not a big home run hitter from what I understand and from what I've talked to a few people about, but he's got great bat to ball skills, high average hitter in the minor leagues. He's not a real big guy, but he's just sort of new to this catching thing. And he was banged up a little bit, so he was DHing. Now he's catching some in Sacramento. I think the question, guys, is he ready to catch in a big league game? And I'm not talking physically. I'm just talking about, he's new to catching. I think that's a little bit of an issue, for the Giants. It's like, boy, is he ready to catch Verlander or Logan Webb? But the kid is interesting, right? Jesus Rodriguez. I think the Giants like him a lot. I think he's the guy they really wanted from the Yankees because, again, bat to ball skills, a high average hitter, doesn't strike out a lot. He's got a little pop. And that's an area where I think they are looking to improve next year, and that's offensive production from the catcher spot. Yeah. I think that's very obvious, right? Patrick Bailey's fine, but I think they need another guy there. And I think that's the way they're looking at him. So I would love to see him and have him get some at-bats here in September. But again, I'm not sure he's ready to catch defensively at the big league level. That would be the only hesitation there.
Who needs him to catch? You got Kinzer and you got Bailey. If this guy could come off the bench and be that kind of bat, like we've seen before, I'd love it. I'd love it to see him just swing the bat here if he's ready on that level to go to the big leagues and swing the bat. Because Bailey and Kinzer can do the catching. They don't need the kid to come up to catch. Really, they need the bat. That's why I say with Luciano, you want the bat up here. What do they have off the bench? I mean, when you consider it, there's not a lot of pinch hitting choices. Wilmer is sort of slowed down quite a bit. If Dom Smith is not in the game, you have him off the bench. Kinzer's off the bench. Casas off the bench.
Yeah.
So you don't have a lot of real choices there.
Yeah.
If Gilbert is not playing, he's off the bench. If Matos is in there, so if you give me another bat, heck, I'd love it. I'd love to see.
Yeah, I think if Wilmer's fine. I mean, Wilmer coming off the bench late in the game, I think is still pretty good.
Yeah, he's the number one choice.
Yeah. And Dom Smith, I think if he was not in the lineup, I think he would give you a real good at bat off the bench. But that's the thing. I think whoever you bring up, it's not somebody who's going to be in the lineup, right? So I think your point, Marty, is a good one. It's somebody who is going to probably be coming off the bench.
Yeah.
I still like the Rodriguez kid just to, get him in the big leagues, and because I think they have plans for him next year.
Yeah.
If he can continue to refine his catching skills, I don't think there's any doubt about that. He's that close. But yeah, I mean, in fairness to Luciano, he's stayed healthy, played every day, which, I said it's training, Marty, and you and I talked about the most important thing for Luciano, play every day in left field.
Right.
I don't know that he has made huge progress in left field from what I understand. I think he's okay out there. But again, what we're all looking for, guys, is better outfield defense moving forward. That's something the Giants have to improve on. So I don't know that Luciano fits in that group, but there is a power bat who's got 23 home runs at the AAA level, and he's finally healthy, and he is showing that he can be a run producer, but still striking out a lot. So we're talking about this last month, obviously. Is he a guy you could put up there late in a game, against a left-handed really? Maybe, but I don't know that he's the guy to call up. I really don't, Marty.
Maybe not. He may. Maybe.
I think what else is he going to do? That's my point.
Look, he's not going to make you forget Joe Rudy in left field. Believe me, he's not.
And he's not gonna pinch run for you. It's not a speed thing.
Right.
But look what Matos did coming up, and look at the shot in the arm that Matos has made a tremendous difference in this lineup. I mean, I can't say enough about him. I mean, Yastrzemski's gone, and you don't even think about that. Yeah. Since he's come up this last time, he's hitting the ball to right field. He's going the other way for soft singles and moving people around. He's hitting with some power. He's, his outfield play has been okay. So I agree with you on Luciano. I don't know if there's a spot for him.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think you mentioned this morning, maybe Matos is out of options. Next year, Matos is not going anywhere. If he's not traded, he's on this team. Yeah, how could you not have him?
Well, that's why I think it's really important, guys, that he play every day in September, because it is a major decision that the Giants have to make with him. Is he our guy? Not a platoon. Is he our guy? Can he be an everyday player for us? Is his defense good enough? Is his offensive skills, continue to improve? And they have improved, and that's nice to see. He does have the contact skills, which the Giants like. He's not a speed burner, but he's a decent base runner. The defense is still a concern, but you have to make a decision on him. He's out of options.
He's not going anywhere. There's
probably enough there where, losing him, or I think if you traded him, you'd have to get a lot of, have to get something of high quality back.
Yeah,
and here's the thing:
big leagues.
As far as Luciano and Rodriguez in AAA, what is this? Rodriguez today he went 3 for 5. He's batting .319 with an .806 OPS.
All right.
Luciano went 2 for 4. He's batting .229 with an 810 OPS. So the OPS are very similar, except Rodriguez has a better batting average.
Yeah, this Dallas Helliker comes up.
Yeah, what's up, Dallas?
They're good. Yeah, he always has a good point here.
Yes.
You know, we forgot about Fitzgerald. Maybe if they bring Fitzgerald up for speed, you know, for that guy in the eighth inning, right?
Yeah.
When you got to steal a bag, or you got to put a pinch runner in a tight game. Maybe Fitzgerald is the guy they bring up. That's not a bad point.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, if you look at what Dallas is saying, why did they bring up McRae and Fitz first? I mean, that's not a bad question, because if you remember Grant McRae, they brought him up before Matos and played McRae for a short period of time.
Yeah.
And then McRae stayed, but kind of went to the bench and didn't play much. And then Matos was called up, and that was an interesting decision. You know, why not just bring Matos up right away instead of McRae? But anyways, the point is Matos is going to be out there every day. We're going to get a real good read on him, and let's hope he continues to improve. I still have some questions about his defense, because this outfield defense has to be better next year.
Yeah.
But the talent is there. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So let's get a good close look at it. I think the Fitzgerald thing, that's an interesting thought as far as, would he be a guy to bring up? Because he's a multi-purpose player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Play him in the outfield. You can play him at second. You can play him at short if something weird happened. You know, he's not going to hit much, but the speed is there. So maybe that's what you need, Marty and Eric, for this final month. Somebody that can help you in little spots, right?
That's
right.
It's an extra cost. You know, it's an extra cost, except maybe he can run a little bit better than Koss. You know, maybe the speed is there.
Sure.
So that's a good point. I like that. Ryan wants everyone to hit the like button.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, when Ryan says that, you do it, right?
Right.
Exactly.
So,
also, another thing, for those of you who are on Twitter, come on over here to YouTube, subscribe to Marty's channel, and hit that notification bell. You'll know every time when Marty goes live. Same thing with Glenn. Come over here and subscribe to Glenn's channel as well. The Glenn Kuiper Show, Old Giants. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you guys will know both when they both go live.
Yeah. All right. Let's change subjects a little bit. There was a question put up here. Do they have to sweep Colorado, or would you be okay with 2 or 3 since it's Colorado?
Ooh, Panaki.
I think they got to. I hate to say this, because every time we say they got to sweep them, then something weird happens. But at this point in the season, when you got, 26 games left, guys? Is that what it is, or 25?
Yeah, 68, 69, 137.
The reality is, I think you do have to sweep the Rockies. You're 5 back. You got 2 or 3 teams ahead of you. I mean, this is the spot you're in. You have put yourself in this spot of sort of desperation, as we called it this morning, Marty. They need a miracle.
Miracle Max.
I don't think you can go to Colorado and say, all right, we took 2 out of 3, and they need more than that. I mean, if they are going to make a miraculous thing here, you got to sweep teams. That's the spot they're in.
Yeah. Well, you got to look at the losses. If there's 69 losses now, you lose, here you got 25 games to go. You're going to lose some games, and that puts you into the 70s, which means your wins are now somewhere in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So you really have to run off a good streak. You got to keep on the amount of losses now, the number. Because if you lose 70, then the most you can win is 92.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They do have 25 games to go. So the loss, every loss is
extreme. 7 times.
That's right. Yeah, no, every loss, I tend to agree with you, Glenn. I think they have to sweep them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to, because of where they're at, I think you got to go 5-1 on this road trip. And every time we've said that this year, unfortunately, it has not turned out that way. But now you're down to the nitty gritty. You are down to this is it, folks. A 3-3 trip, you're done.
Mhm.
Well, it puts you at 72 losses.
Clock, you said.
Yeah.
That's mine. That's mine.
Oh, I haven't heard one of those. We had one of those in my house growing up. They brought back great memories.
I got it in Germany when we were stationed over there.
Is that what it's called, right? The cuckoo clock. That's what we call it. Maybe that's not the right thing to say.
That's what it is. It's a cuckoo clock. 100%.
I don't want to get in trouble.
No, you're good. Glenn, you're good. You're good.
I need a lawyer. Marty, you around?
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
This is good. Because there's a reality that we have here. They're playing great. There's a lot of good things. Adames is here. I'm happy with Adames, and the fan base really bonded with him. And something, I was up there all week. We had the movie premiere Monday and did the community fun thing on Tuesday, and I had a nice week up there. And for a couple of games, Glenn, I saw you, but I sat down with Philip Byer and Larry Nibby, down in the second row there by the dugout, and I got to watch the dugout. Let me tell you, this Adames, he is just the biggest cheerleader, and attitude-wise, he is legit. Yeah. And Woe told me this early in the season when he was struggling. I said, "Whoa, what about Adames?" He says, "Let me tell you, he brings you something to the game, to the team that they don't have." Yeah. And he really is special. And I wondered, my God, they signed him for 6 or 7 years. Now he's striking out all the time. How are we going to put up with it? But he's worth it. He's worth it. Yeah, he's a winning player. I firmly believe he's a winning player.
And I think at some point, guys, he's a shortstop now. And listen, 4 or 5 years into this deal, you may have to move him to a different position. That happens with these things. But I agree with you, Marty. There's an intangible with him that I think it's hard to maybe explain to people. But his personality and that upbeat personality, it's not fake. And I know I've had Giants fans say to me, "Yeah, but is he really like that?" It's like, yeah, he is. The enthusiasm is there. He really, really pulls for his teammates. He wants his teammates to do well.
Yeah.
And there's a selflessness to him, which I think is really important because he's a star player. And I think, guys, the most important thing what we've seen from Adames is, okay, he got a slow start. The numbers weren't there. Now the numbers are there. What does he got now? 25 homers, 72 RBIs. He's going to finish with, 28, 29, 30, and 80, 85 RBIs. That's pretty good. But the thing that I think is super important is he has showed in the last 2.5, 3 months when he had this turnaround that he is still an above average defender at shortstop. And that to me was a little concern early on because he didn't look great defensively early on, right? He just didn't look good. But the reputation was that he was a pretty good defensive shortstop. But if he had regressed defensively at shortstop, that would be a huge issue for the Giants moving forward. Because now you got a shortstop signed long-term who is regressing defensively. That's not good. That's not good. Yeah. But he has showed that he is still, to me, significantly above average defensively at short. And that to me was huge. When he had kind of the turnaround and he started playing better defensively, and now we're seeing what he's really all about. And he's still pretty darn good at short. That's huge because you don't want to have to move him off short, from now.
No, and plus you don't want him to be negative. You want him to have positive things going on, which he's got now. All of a sudden, he's hitting home runs and he's fielding.
You guys would agree with me that he looks pretty good defensively.
Yeah,
and I don't see any regret. I think, and that to me is a big deal, man, because if it looked like he was slowing down defensively, that's a major issue for the Giants and for the roster.
Well,
and he's
this
been great defensively.
this Colorado trip, the outfield is. You know how big the outfield is in Colorado.
Yeah.
It's gigantic. So what are they going to do? Ramos, you put him out there. You put Matos out there. You got
Great
Lee.
That's
Maybe you. I don't know. Maybe a DH Ramos here. You don't put him out in left field. This is the
Right.
outfield.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see the lineup tomorrow, to see what they do with the lineup. Now they face a righty, so you could put Gilbert out there with Lee and Matos, and you could DH Ramos. Must hit. He must hit.
Yeah.
No
And
question.
he's been swinging the bat well lately too. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's crazy, Marty. I don't. I think your defense is so important at Coors Field and especially in the outfield. I don't think putting Gilbert, Lee, and Matos out there is that crazy of an idea. But yeah, then what do you do with Ramos? Maybe you move things around a little bit each night, Marty. Maybe you DH Ramos one night, get Dom Smith in there somewhere. So you may have to switch things around. But
I think you DH Ramos and you place Devers at first.
Okay.
And you bring Dom Smith off the bench when you need him. He's your bullet late in the game. As hitter and you don't DH Flores there, and you have Flores and Smith coming off the bench as your late inning guys the way you need them. And then you have at second base, you have Schmidt. Hopefully hopefully Chapman's okay. Fouled that ball off his foot. And you got Adames, and you get Bailey behind the plate. And that's my team. That's what I'm putting out there tomorrow.
And do you guys think Gilbert, Eric, do you see, we haven't seen a lot of Gilbert. He plays with that fire that I think is kind of fun. And I know Marty liked it. Have we seen enough of him to say that, the scouting reports were correct, that he is a very, very good defensive outfielder? He looks like he's got a pretty good idea.
He does. I haven't seen him have any kind of faux pas out there.
No.
I don't see him bobbling ball. Looks like he's taking some good routes to the ball, especially playing in right field.
He has a good arm. You see,
he's got a good arm.
Cut-off man. He looks like a fundamentally sound player, and he's got a lot of speed. I've said this a couple of weeks ago, even when he was striking out all the time. He had a little bit of something, some fire in him, which I like.
Would you play him in right field, or if they did the defensive alignment like we're talking about, Marty, in Colorado, would you play Gilbert in right and Matos in left, or vice versa?
Yeah, no, Matos goes to left, Gilbert goes to right, and Lee stays in center. Lee's going to have his hands full in the center field here. Lee covers a lot of ground, but it's not always pretty. And this is a big outfield. So that's going to be a challenge for him this week on the defensive side.
And speaking of defense,
what about, someone brought this up on the show this morning, I think. Maybe Mark Simon did. What do they do for a closer now? I mean, I realize they got Ryan Walker, but how do you close a game now for the Giants? Is it just Walker? Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to be. Unless Walker's been used a couple days. I mean, listen, the bullpen is what it is now. We're seeing guys that we don't know a lot about. We're missing Miller. The Peguero kid's been fun to watch, but he's only pitched in 5 games.
Let's talk about him for a minute. Let's talk about Peguero. Well, what do you think of him?
I mean, the stuff is ridiculous. But then, I always go back, and maybe I'm a pessimist, but I say, well, why was he in the minor leagues for 10 years? Is there something missing? I mean, was he having trouble throwing strikes?
Yeah.
And Randy Rodriguez had some trouble throwing strikes in the minor leagues as well. So why is this kid just getting here now, this Peguero? He did look good in spring training. I know. I think the Giants thought about keeping him. Thought about him making the big league team out of spring training. Marty, you and I were down there, and he looked great.
He got the award. Didn't he get the award?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, the Nugent?
Barney Nugent award.
Oh, yeah. But this is another guy that we need to get a good look at him in September.
Yeah.
And see if we have something. The stuff is he's throwing 100 miles an hour with sink. Right?
And 92-mile-per-hour sliders. I'm
Well,
like,
that's he dropped the slider
stuff
yesterday. He
Yeah.
started to drop this. If he can drop that pitch,
Yeah.
well, then he's Duvall, he's Randy Rodriguez. You know, that's who he
Right.
is.
And we all know that. Listen, in the off season, the whole bullpen needs to be reworked. That's a bummer because with Randy Rodriguez and the trades, it's just an area where they're going to have to redo almost completely.
Well, would you be okay with Lucchesi and Gage coming back? With this, with
maybe
Miller,
one of them, I don't know about both of them. You know, you're getting Miller back, and you know, maybe, yeah.
I like
But
Lucchesi. I like Lucchesi better than Gage.
Why
they're
not?
gonna have to spend some money. I think they're going to have to spend some money on that bullpen. I do. It's just the reality of it. You just look, and there's a lot of guys that, you know, we don't know much about. But let's find out about, as I said this to you, Marty, let's find out about a couple guys. Let's find out about Peguero. Let's see. Let's put him in some tough spots here in September.
Yeah, he will be.
Difference does it make? There's nobody else that's jumping out at us, right? And saying, oh, that's the guy. You know, Walker, give Walker a ninth. Let's find out.
Yeah, Rick Brown says Butto in the eighth. What about that? What about him?
I like him.
I think he's fine. I think he's more of a sixth or seventh inning guy in a good bullpen. I think he's a decent reliever. But let's find out, because all this really has a lot to do with the off season and going into next year, right?
Hey, Birdsong may wind up being a bullpen guy, right?
Absolutely.
Good point.
Yeah, but he's still got to throw strikes no matter what. But that's not crazy. He was pretty good out of the bullpen. You know,
he was great out of the bullpen.
Yeah, you know, but again, open spots in the bullpen to show your stuff, right? Whoever that is, but it's going to be a night to night thing, Marty. I think with this bullpen, I think Bob's probably saying, okay, who do we have tonight? What are the matchups? You know, but you got to give some of these guys credit. Lucchesi's been good. Gage he has struggled a little bit lately. You know, Bivens is Bivens. He's a long guy. You know, so
Tristan Beck. How about Tristan Beck?
You know, I mean, that was a guy that I said too. It's like, here's a shot. Let's see what this guy is, and he has not looked good. You know, I think the reality is I like the kid a lot. He has not looked great. The guy I'm more interested in the bullpen is Keaton Wynn.
Yeah,
to me, Keaton Wynn. You look at his stuff. 97, 98, firm with a good splitter. To me, let's see if this guy's a bullpen weapon moving forward.
He could be a starter. You know, before he got hurt, he was a starter.
Yeah, but I just think he's kind of a two-pitch guy. But I want to see his deal because he has the reliever stuff, if you ask me. Good fastball and a good splitter. Let's see what he's all about. You know, so let's look at these guys. Let's find out.
Yeah.
How about Seymour? Have you seen enough to get an idea?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, the stuff's there. He's a good sinker, good hard sinker. A lot of hanging sliders from him.
And home runs.
Yeah,
home runs.
Issue. I think there's something there, but it just hasn't really been that impressive at the big league level. But it's also his first time. He's a rookie, so it's always hard to completely judge a guy in his first 8 or 9 appearances at the big league level. You know, there's some stuff there, I think, with Seymour. We just haven't seen the best of him, obviously.
Yeah, then you got the Met guy. You know, we haven't talked about him yet. Tidwell.
Haven't seen him.
See what he can do. But, yeah, I think the clock has run out on Tristan Beck and, unfortunately, Mason Black. And, you know, for a year or two, we've been waiting for them. I don't see it really happen.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We need to some of these new guys. Let's get a look at them. And there's a couple of relievers in AAA too that I know the Giants like. The Harris kid, Trent Harris, and
I haven't seen him pitch at all. Have you?
No, I haven't. And Roxbury they got from I believe the Reds. I know they like both those kids. I don't know that they'll be called up in September here, but there's a whole mix of people that are going to have opportunities to be in the Giants bullpen next year.
Yeah.
So we'll see a lot of new guys, I think.
Well, September is a lot of fun. Are you scoreboard watching now? Are you looking at the other scores?
Eric, are you a scoreboard watcher?
Yeah, I like doing that just to see. I like doing that just to see. I'm trying to keep it alive.
Yeah, I do just for fun too. And I look at the standings every day. Not necessarily where the Giants are. I just like to know, the Blue Jays are scuffling a little bit, and now the Yankees are. I just like to kind of know what's going on in the other divisions. We all know where the Giants are, right? But I like to know what's going on in the divisions, and I like to know who's hot and who's not, right?
Nice.
Especially this time of year. So
yeah, September is a month of sweeps. If you got the lead, you don't want to get swept. And if you're chasing, you got to sweep.
Yeah.
There's 69 losses, right now. And again, I say if they lose 6 games out of the next 25, that's 75 losses. And the most they can win is 87. That's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But, you lose 10 here. You go 16 and 15 and 10.
That's not going to get it done.
Nope.
The most you can win then is 83 games. Which is not
miracle, Marty. We need a miracle.
Miracle Max.
We need Miracle Max.
They're dead, almost dead, but not quite dead.
You know what? Until they're 6 back with 5 to play, let's have fun and enjoy it. They're playing better baseball, right? The stars are playing well. That's what we want.
Yeah. Right. And look, the beauty of baseball is, we build up to this crescendo. And now it's a race to the finish. Mm-hmm. And the end of the game is important. The sweep is important. The one kid they bring up all of a sudden wins a game. The Ron Pruitt game. All of a sudden, I was there for that.
Were you really?
Oh yeah.
Hank Greenwald had a terrific call. I mean, it was great.
Ron Pruitt came out of no pinch hit late in the game and won a game at Candlestick. I was sitting there, it was freezing, and think that's what September baseball is all about. I'm sure Dwayne remembers, or Henry would remember, Hurricane Hazel for the Braves in 57 came up, Bob Hazel. Hurricane Hazel, and led the Braves to the pennant in 57 in the World Series. So, let's see what happens. September is a really important month. You don't fall in love, but they're big games, big games. And
that's what we're talking. We're talking about how important. Listen, there's 3 games in Colorado, right? Tomorrow we're gonna all watch. It's the Rockies of the day. The Giants have to win. They have to win.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no other. That's where they have put themselves.
Gary, chiming in.
Yeah, Gary from New York. Absolutely.
Yeah, it says the trifecta. Thanks to all you guys. Just play the games and see what happens. We've already talked about the bullpen, but
when does my Cy Young guy go? On Tuesday?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so, right?
Tuesday. Yeah. Tuesday, and then Ray on Wednesday. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm hoping Skeens gets lit up this week.
Marty, I think you got to get Logan Webb to 15 wins.
Okay. All right.
You got to get him 15. If he gets 15 and Skeens has 10 and Webb has, Webb leads the league in
I'm telling you.
He's pitched and he's close in strikeouts, then you know what? Who knows? You need the Sanchez kid and the Peralta kid to get knocked around a little bit.
Yeah, Peralta can win 20. You know that?
He's got 15, right? Or 16?
He's 16 now.
Yeah. I mean, that's an issue too. That's why I don't think Webb's going to win it, but I think he deserves the attention that we're giving him, Marty. Yeah. He's terrific. I think we overlook Webb a little bit. And you know what? He's signed for 3 more years.
Yep.
He's not going anywhere. And
he
doesn't want to go anywhere. He wants to stay here, So
he's tied with Paul Skeens with strikeouts.
Who
would have thought that?
I know.
Who would have thought that?
I thought it.
Marty knew it.
He has been creeping up on all these numbers all year long. He has. And like I say, Tuesday he's going to get the ball and he better win.
He's got to win.
He's going to get the ball probably in St. Louis at the end of that series, maybe. No, I guess.
If they skipped somebody, and they may.
Yeah.
Because it's just Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday.
Yeah, so he could go Sunday.
Yeah.
In St. Louis, and that's a game you better win.
Yeah.
St. Louis is trouble. You know that, Glenn. You know St. Louis. They're trouble. They hit. They've got Burleson, the left-handed hitter. They've got a couple of guys, Gorman. They can play.
Hanging around. Yep. But they got some weird stuff going on there. They're not.
Donovan's another one.
Yeah. But the attendance is way down there. Very strange.
Saw that
in St. Louis. Very strange. That place was a guaranteed 35,000 every night, and they don't have that now. I don't know what's going on there. It's very strange.
Yeah, they're not feeling it.
Yeah, and I mean that's a great baseball town, but for this weird attendance drop for them, and it's been going on for a couple of years now. It's very strange. I know they haven't had their top teams, but still, it's St. Louis. You could always count on 35,000 there. So that's a little weird to me. I don't know what's going on there. It'd be interesting to see what the Giants hear about that when they get to St. Louis.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is good. We've done our hour. This is solid. All right. I want to remind everybody about me personally. This Thursday on the Brian Kenny MLB Now show, Thursday, Bob Costas is on, I guess, and he does a segment. And his segment this Thursday will be about Marty Lurie, the baseball mensch story. And they're going to show some clips from the movie. I bet Glenn is on MLB. I'll bet you they choose you as part of.
I don't know if I want that, Marty.
All right, it's okay. You gave a good story. You gave a very good explanation from the heart. And I think that's part of what the movie's all about. So
I'm watching. It's going to be great. I think it's super cool that they're doing that on the Baseball Network, and this deserves all the attention that it's getting, Marty. And
yeah, it's fun.
I was there Monday night. It was great. It was emotional, and yeah, it's a great story, Marty. You should be very proud, and I'm proud of you, and I'm proud that you're my friend. How about that?
Yeah,
there you go.
Plus all the people who have been with me all the way, going back to, Dwayne in '87. Sure. I was doing Giants Vision with Corey Bush and,
Mike
Shapiro, Mark Gumry, and the whole crowd of them. So this is nice. So the movie's fun, and it'll be Thursday. So I want everyone to know that. All right. But I love the post games. This is good. Yeah. They did win. They won today. They crushed what I think was the worst team I've seen all year long. All year long. They couldn't catch the ball. They couldn't pitch. They couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. They couldn't do a thing other than Rogers yesterday pitched a great game. So the Giants took care of business today. So that was good. All right. So we'll be back. We'll see you next week.
Yes, Marty, I got a show live stream tomorrow. Post game, I'm going to do it at 5. We'll kind of go over. It's day tomorrow, 1:00 tomorrow.
Oh, you're right. Oh, I'm on tomorrow with Kehrig. I'm just going to talk about Labor Day tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, Labor Day.
And then what I like to do at the end of each month is I kind of give you my updated picks for MVP in each league and Cy Young and my team that's hot, my team that's not. I like to do that right at the end of each month. So I'm going to do that tomorrow on my show too. So that'll be the Glenn Kuiper Show, All Giants, tomorrow at 5:00.
Got it. Okay.
So, awesome.
All right. Well, I'm anxious to hear your pick of Schwarber and Logan Webb.
Oh, you are so on Logan Webb. I love it.
All right.
Nice show.
All right. Take care. I'll see you next week. Okay.
Okay, good. See you
guys. Take care, everyone. See ya.
See you, man.
Thank you kindly. Enjoy the next week. We've got a whole bunch of baseball to speak on here at Marty and